Alright, we got another Losers Bracket Round 2 match coming at you. HoN Tour Season 3 Gold Cycle 6 between TangZangPang on the Legion side and Team Zenzyg on the HoN side. Draft well underway here, obviously. TZP, hopefully a name that you recognize, one of the higher tier gold teams in my opinion. Team Zenzyg has actually been bouncing back and forth a little bit between gold and silver. We've seen them before, but haven't seen them do particularly well in previous cycles. They lost to Twisted Fusion in the round of 16 in gold. Got a bye, which brought them through the Losers Bracket Round 1, and here into the Losers Bracket Round 2. And I forgot to mute myself, but there we go. Caught it quickly. TangZangPang, meanwhile, actually got a forfeit victory over You Loved Party in the round of 16, and then lost 2-0 to Night Raid in the round of 8, which dumped them here in the Losers Bracket Round 2 once again. And TZP, probably the favorite team in this matchup, as they've been a consistent Gold Division performer, and several recognizable names on the Legion side. Yellow Train, Ganal Mex, and Count Crapula all been on this TZP team for quite some time. Jonathan actually moving over from Wake of Gods and presumably going to be occupying that carry role. We'll see how that screws things up for this team. Count Crapula was their former carry player. I believe he is now the Suicide, I guess. I believe Mex is their jungler. Yellow Train was their Suicide. Ganal is their mid player. I don't know what's going to happen. I casted this series or this team before in the round of 8, but it's been a while. I haven't seen them in several weeks now because I did some of Gold Cycle before the holidays and then put casting down for a while and have since picked it back up. But I don't remember how they decided to move their team around. But I'm sure we'll find out as the game progresses. So far, Legion side going to ban out the Kraken and Parasite with their first two. Cthulhufoot and Swiftblade taken out by Wazo. That leads into 3 picks from Legion side of Tempest, Pyromancer, and Pebbles. So pretty good amount of burst magical damage here on the Legion side. Pyromancer and Pebbles providing the bulk of that. And not too much follow-up actually for the Tempest hull. So it was said that Yellow Train actually said that was a misclick. I don't know if that's true. First pick Tempest is by no means remarkable. It's, certainly understandable, especially with the heroes on the board. Hellborn going to counter with Magnus, Ophelia, and Puppet Master, so they have a number of Tempest cancelers, of course, until he gets that shrunken head up, at which point only the Ophelia Skeleton Kings will be able to go through and cancel. But also a fair bit of gank potential on the Hellborn side as well. Ophelia, Magnus, and Puppet Master, all strong gank heroes, and both Oph and Magnus with some pretty solid teamfight ultimates as well. The jump potential from both sides actually should be quite good, assuming that the Pyromancer is running more of a support role. Probably not going to be seeing an early portal key from him, but Pebbles definitely going to have some initiation potential and some pick-off potential pretty easily. Rhapsody, Madman, and Bubbles will be the first 3 picks for the Legion team. Or sorry, the first 3 bans, second 3 bans for the Legion team. Some numbers and picks are I don't know, as they're focusing on a number of different roles, mostly the Suicide. Madman, of course, has that short lane option, and Bubbles has the mid option, but both are common Suicide heroes. Rhapsody, a typical support, as the Hellborn have not picked up any support options yet. Presumably Legion have with their Pyromancer as well as their jungle player in Tempest. Hellborn going to ban out Silhouette, Moon Queen, and Oogie, so focusing mostly on that short lane role. Presumably they have theirs in Puppet Master and Legion side. Likely looking for a short lane option, although it is very possible that we could see the Pebbles short lane. We've been seeing that occasionally, and I believe there are a number of players who actually prefer that method. I still think Pebbles is best run as a dual mid option. You definitely cannot solo the hero, but certainly not unreasonable to put him in the mid and put something with a little more late game potential in the short lane, as Pebbles isn't really a hero that scales all that well into the late game. Definitely not a late game carry option by any means. So you can see the value of getting him an early blink, but it's going to require that you have a hero in middle that can handle that, and there's not too many carries that can reasonably be put in the middle lane. And it also means that you need to have a really good start on Pebbles, because if you're going to give him the short lane farm, and presumably also put him in a dual lane at least, then failing in that lane in any way will more or less lose you the game. So a little bit too much risk there for my taste, but we'll see how they choose to land it on TZP's side. Hellborn going to go with Torture as their support option, so presumably will be a Puppet Master Torturer short lane. Magnus likely going to be their solo mid, and Ophelia in the woods, probably looking for a suicide hero on the Hellborn side. Legion likely going to stick a Chipper in the middle lane against Magnus. Although between him and Pebbles, it's pretty difficult to call. I would imagine one of those will get the short lane and one will get the mid. It's possible to see a suicide Chipper. Old BMG used to run that occasionally with Jonathan Fan, and we've seen a couple other teams try it. I think it's very difficult to pull off though, and very situational. In this instance, I would very strongly recommend against it, and I think they've realized that with the Warbeast pick. Likely going to be a suicide option, and Count Crapula has played Warbeast quite a lot before. So, expect some decent things from him on that hero. I've seen him play it very well, and I've seen him fail horribly, so all options are in play here. And Chipper, looking like it's going to be the hands of Jonathan, as he's going to be playing the short lane option probably in a solo role. Pebbles and Pyromancer likely headed to the middle lane, while Tempest goes to the woods. So pretty predictable laning phase here coming out from the Legion side, and similar things apply to the Hellborn team, assuming that Magnus is in fact their middle and not their suicide option. But we should be getting an answer to that in the next 30 seconds, as they're using some extra time here on the Hellborn team. They've built it up through their first several picks and bans, and of course, no problem taking use of it here. In terms of options that are left on the board, obviously the bubble's been banned out. There aren't too many suicides left on the board. Plague Rider would be an interesting option right here. It would provide them some pretty solid damage, considering that they have a fair bit of lockdown, but they're going to go for a Dr. Repulsor here. So that's extremely interesting, and I'm not particularly a fan. Like I said, this is presumably going to be a support Torturer, but it's potentially a support Puppet Master. I don't believe Wazo is their support player, but he might be. I forget who plays what on Zenzyg. But that's a bit of a greedy pick right there on the Doctor. And this is going, if they come out of the laning phase well, things could obviously go very well for them, as they have a number of carries compared to the Legion side that really only has the one, and Warbeast has tons of potential to get kited by the Dr. Repulsor, as well as some other mobile heroes like Magnus and the CC tools that come out from Puppet Master. So it's a hero in Warbeast that could have some serious problems chasing people down and killing them. But on the other hand, if they cannot spread farm efficiently and just get farm efficiently in general, then this Hellborn team could have bitten off more than it can chew with the Dr. Repulsor pick. So, in general, I'm not a fan of excessive greed like that. I would have preferred something that requires a little bit less farm, especially since Magnus is a hero that's going to require a fair bit. Even as a mid, Puppet Master is going to require a lot, and he will soak up a lot, and so will Doctor. So, Ophelia, not really a farm-intensive hero, and doesn't actually farm all that well, so that's not that big a deal. Torturer's kind of iffy. He's actually a hero that you'd like to see a little bit more GPM on as supports go, but can certainly do a lot without it, so it's not like it's all that necessary. This game, I would imagine he's not going to be looking at too much in terms of potential for his item slots. You can see already I got a ward and some regen, so not even getting any stats. Meantime, though, it does look like it's going to be a suicide Magmus option. And Dr. Repulsor appearing to take the short lane, so it's likely we're going to see a Puppet mid. And apparently Torturer is headed middle as well, which is a little bit strange. With the presumed dual lane middle from the Legion side, I really don't like a solo mid Puppet, but Torturer's not a great mid hero. Much better at that short lane babysit option, and considering it is a Dr. Repulsor in the top lane, who doesn't have the greatest lane potential, or lane presence, and can be quite weak, I really would have preferred to see Torturer stay in this top lane. Instead, it looks like they will be running a dual mid with Puppet and Torturer. Two heroes I don't feel have too much synergy, but apparently they do. And that'll be going up against the Pebbles, and presumably the Pyromancer, which has a fair degree of synergy, actually. A lot of burst damage coming out from that combo. I got AoE stuns, and some nice setup and follow-up combinations. Legion side will also be in lane control here in a moment, as the Hellborn have killed 2 of their creeps and lost none. So creep wave will be coming right up the hill. And overall, I'm actually favoring the Legion side reasonably heavy. I don't really like either team's strat, to be honest, but I prefer the slightly more conservative route of the Legion side, as well as their superior lanes, in my opinion. Warbeast's actually going to get a successful pull-off in the top lane, and he'll be getting a couple of CS as a result of that. Force Doctor all the way back here, and he'll be fine picking off some creep kills as well, but this means that Warbeast is perhaps going to get more than he should in this top lane. Bottom, meantime, is Chipper versus Magnus, and that's a matchup that I would definitely favor the Chipper in. He's going to be able to continuously pound in auto-attack harass onto this Magnus, and of course the Chipper rockets can, I believe, will hit Invis heroes as far as I remember. And obviously Magnus is stationary Invis hero as well, so it wouldn't be surprising to see Dust on top of it. Very early on, Pebbles leading the GPM charts. It's a little bit surprising, but definitely good. And actually going to see Ophelia coming with the gank. There's chain reactions, but not nearly enough damage to kill Pebbles, and obviously with the uphills, a bit of a problem. Stalagmites actually go through, and we're going to see a follow-up Dragonfire Stun. That's going to be a Bloodlust as Mex on the Pyromancer picks it up with Phoenix Wave. Tempest coming in for the assistance, not even needed though, and he will just return to the jungle. So that's what I was referring to when the Legion, I said the Legion side have some good initiation, magic damage combos, and follow-up. That's exactly that sort of thing. Anyway, Pebbles going to have to throw another Stalagmite out as he gets Puppet Showed, and he could definitely be falling here. Torture, one more auto attack, and that will be the kill. Actually, Wazo on the Puppet Master picking up the last auto attack and the kill. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Chipper and Magnus going at it. Chipper actually has a lot of mana now. If he lands one more rocket, or one even more auto attack, no, he needs another one, and rocket going to miss, so forces the health pot out of Magnus, but that does save his life. Now Magnus out of regen pretty much entirely. He does have a Lava Surge in 5 mana, and he perhaps could be going for a kill on this Chipper, but that's not going to happen as Chipper takes a mana pot and a health pot. So Magnus is going to be very careful right here. He's going to eat a bunch of trees. Little bit iffy. I feel like it's much better to just ferry himself out a health potion if he wants to stay in lane or go all the way back. He doesn't have enough mana, but actually going to eat a Tartos here, and if there's a couple of rockets in his face, then this could be real bad. That's going to be 1, and he's not going to have any more as Chipper doesn't have the largest mana pool right now. Magnus has his stun back and his steam bath, so should be just fine in terms of ability to lane, but it's going to continuously get harassed out. So he needs to go and get some mana and some health. He's pretty damn close to his bottle though, so maybe he's feeling like, I just want a little bit more and I can get my bottle and I'll be fine. Now 20 gold off of that, and with the tick he should be just fine if he wants to back up a little bit. Leech experience, or do that, and now he has the gold for it. Middle lane, actually chain reactions go on to Pebbles along with the Puppet Show. Dragonfire Stun misses. Stalagmites actually go onto the Minotaur, and we'll see if they can chase him down and get the kill. One auto attack does finish off the Pebbles. Yellow Train taking another death here, and Pyromancer going to be chased under the tower, but no kill on him. So Pebbles' nice early start has since devolved into something pretty horrible, and it is worthwhile to note that Hellborn have a 600 range advantage in this lane. Both these heroes with some good laning distance on their auto attacks, and Pebbles at a bit of a disadvantage in that regard. Pyromancer, of course, also not a hero that you really want to set up with because she has some issues landing her initial stuns. The cast time's quite long on the Dragonfire. Having Pebbles usually means that's not a problem, but Legion side not looking like they're able to get that many kills out in this lane. Pretty useless puppet show right there. But Pebbles, of course, has his bottle. No bottle on the Hellborn side in the middle lane. And so room control should be in favor of the Legion team. Actually, bottom lane, Magnus will have to stun away. Chipper has a lot of mana, though, and he's not going to chase, actually, as Magnus has the bottom charges to get himself some health back. One more sip left, and wouldn't be surprised if he goes for that 6-minute rune in the bottom lane. Top lane, haven't talked about that too much, but Count Crapula currently at 181 gold per minute. Predictable on the Doctor. Bolster 340 GPM, top farmer in the game. And you look at this TZP side, in fact, all across the board, farming just terribly. Including this Chipper in the bottom lane, who for some reason is at 230 gold per minute, and it's going to be taking a lot of damage from this Magnus. Actually, one more auto attack and a steam bath, and Magnus can finish him off. He actually has a stun back in a couple of seconds. Chipper not enough mana for rockets, needs to throw one in the face. Going to get the counter kill? No! Magnus just barely gets it back, but now he could be in some trouble. Tempest only level 5, steam bath not available, but Magnus is actually too fast. And he completely gets away scot-free, so that is not what you want to have happen. Jonathan, 200 GPM in this bottom lane, and all of a sudden I Love Sonya at 240. So Hellborn, their greedy draft is certainly paying off at this point. They are winning all of their lanes. 330 gold per minute for the Puppet Master in middle, 325 for the Doctor in the top lane, and 240 in the bottom lane. So Sad times for this TZP squad, and if this keeps up, things are going to go real bad real fast. Which is actually perhaps a little bit misleading, because they kind of are a little bit bad. They're only down by 1,000 gold, but we're 6 minutes into the game, and I would imagine we're going to start seeing some rotations here from TZP. Chipper is level 6. He could perhaps set a gank up in another lane. He's got his saw blades back, and actually, yeah, see Pebbles rotating to the bottom lane. Chipper going to move to the mid, as they realize pretty quickly Pebbles cannot survive in this lane anymore, and it's much better to hang bot. But Magnus with his level 6, we're actually going to see a puppet show onto the Chipper 2-man Lava Surge stun, and we should be seeing a pretty easy Chipper kill right here if they would kill the puppet. Yes, they will. Impel going to go through, and actually they do get the counter kill onto Torture, but it's a 2-for-1. And Hellborn getting much, much better. As they're up 5-2 hero kills, they're up 1,800 gold and 1,000 experience. Ganal in the woods. 300 GPM, so that's not bad, as I am a cake on this Ophelia, only 150 GPM, so it's about the only thing that's going well for this Legion side is their jungle farm, and especially compared to the opposing team's jungler, who hasn't had that much of an impact. We've seen Ophelia gank middle a couple of times, and that's been helpful, but it's not like she's absolutely been taking off just the 1 assist. And definitely needs to pick up her farm a little bit if she wants to have an impact in this game now. The advantage is, as you can see by the GPM charts, most of the rest of her team is doing quite well, and TZP's side just absolutely, unbelievably horribly, really. I'm very surprised the lane's going this poorly. Chipper usually a very strong laning hero. Pebbles a decent lane hero, especially in a dual lane. Kind of weak on his own, but when you put him in a situation like the one with Pyromancer, he would usually have a much better situation or time than this. And in this middle lane, actually, for some reason, continuing to dual lane it with the Chipper, and I don't know why. Magnus is still hanging around, and I get the Chipper's a little bit vulnerable to this combination, but only if he's up near the creep wave. There is no realistic scenario in which Chipper dies to this as long as he's sitting in a decent range from the creeps, but he's going to miss another CS. And this is something I've noticed as well from Jonathan. Maybe just uncomfortable on this hero, but his top lane, Warbeast, is level 7, has access to his metamorphosis, but being ganked by 3 heroes right here. We'll see if they have the lockdown to kill him. He's going to pop his ulti, finally takes the Lava Surge, Skeleton King net, and the Dr. Repulsor opposite charges. Is it there? No. He's just going to run away. Dr. Repulsor has opposite charges, but not enough mana for it, and will be ported back to base. So, unable to lock down the Warbeast and kill him. That is obviously the value of Warbeast in the suicide role. If he gets aggressed on, he can pop the ulti, get some health, and get 522 unslowable move speed with phase. Very effective when it comes to getting away. Meanwhile, Dr. Repulsor picking up an Invis rune, but going to run right into a Rev Ward. Perhaps that won't matter. Opposite charge is going through on the Chipper, and this is really poor timing. They have this Pyromancer sitting in the middle lane this entire time, and the only time he leaves is when Chipper actually gets ganked. So a bit of poor luck right there, but they should know that Dr. Repulsor just left top lane. It was possible for him to come middle and get a gank there, and perhaps just some lack of attention on the TZP side. Yet another thing going in the favor of Zenzyg, who are looking quite good in this game, and a little bit surprisingly so, as this is not something I necessarily would have expected from them. A victory possibly over TZP. We're not quite there yet, but they're definitely looking good, and actually going to be a chuck in on Tempest. Poor man's Portal Key right on top of this Doctor, but are they going to have enough damage to lock him down and kill him? Yeah, they will, as they save the Stalagmites to just before the Tempest ultimate ends, and don't allow Doctor to get his R off. Top lane Eruption going through onto the Warbeast, and that's a pretty easy kill. Pyromancer would have had the potential to kill Magnus with his ultimate, but didn't have his ultimate. 450 magic damage, actually, that wouldn't have even killed the Magnus, so it's a good thing. Didn't waste that cooldown, because he didn't have it. So, Legion side picking up a nice kill in the bottom lane, as they finally get some action from this Tempest, who's farming at 320 GPM, really their shining star in terms of the farm. And Pebble's going to be able to pick up his farm a little bit in this bottom lane as well. He's at 240 gold per minute, 250. Doesn't mean like an early Portal Key by any means. Here comes Dr. Repulsor, going to be able to slow Pebbles down. Stalagmites completely whiffs, opposite charges is there, into the Lava Surge, and Pebbles, no way he's surviving that, as Predictable picks up the kill. Speaking of Predictable, his GPM's actually diminished quite a lot since that good start in the top lane, only 300 gold per minute, but Wazo on the Puppet Master has picked up his slack. And between the two of them, if they can get the carry potential out of one, they'd certainly appreciate it, as Chipper in the middle lane getting crushed, and Wazo dropping the full combo of abilities, picks up a free kill onto Jonathan. And this chipper just not going to have any impact whatsoever. At 140 gold per minute, Tempest will be found in the woods as well. Gets pulled in by the opposite charges, and the last auto attack goes to Dr. Repulsor. Nothing that he could have done about that. Zenzyg moving as a team, playing very well, rotating appropriately. Dr. Repulsor hits level 6, realizes how mobile he is, and says, I'm going to go get myself some kills. Ophelia, currently only level 6, so access to just 2 minions, but that's plenty to take out a mid-tier 1 tower. As Doctor will port to the top lane, looking to deny this top lane tower, not going to be successful. And actually, Warbeast could try to man up here, yeah. Dr. Repulsor, not enough mana to really get away from this. He's got a short jump, and actually Warbeast going to diminish the chase. No teleport's coming in, but well aware that a tier 2 tower is there and had the possibility of getting counter-jumped. Top lane, regen rune is being guarded by Magnus, who has a bottle, and it's going to be given to Dr. Repulsor because Dr. Repulsor regen is absolutely hilarious. He'll also steal a double damage, and that was a little bit silly because Magnus has an empty bottle. So, slightly inefficient there from Zenzyg, as if they had given the Magnus the DD, they would have had 2 full bottles as opposed to just the 1. Ah well. Not that big a deal. Doctor's regen actually gets knocked off right there somehow. Not sure what hit him, it must have been an archer or something. Bottom lane, Tempest and Pebbles maybe looking to set something up onto this Dr. Repulsor, but no Tempest ultimate available, so I seriously doubt they'll actually get a kill. As a Word of Sight is there, it does spot him out, and they're looking to initiate with a stun, no portal keys, and I don't think enough consistent lockdown to kill this Doctor. And in fact, they will back off the chase. I'm just going to have Pebbles sit down here and grab some more CS. So, for all of their strengths, now, to be fair, Zenzyg's actually not that far up, as they're going to chuck in the Pyromancer, but yeah, the cast time on Dragonfire, just way too long for that to be an effective maneuver. Not surprising that it didn't work. DD actually going to be taken here by Dr. Repulsor as he realizes there's some spells on cooldown, so perhaps looking to re-engage and get a free pick-off onto this Pebbles. He might need some help, and there are 2 heroes coming down to the bottom lane in the Ophelia and the Torturer who could provide that assistance, but perhaps too far away. And of course there's a lane ward here as well that would see them coming in, so good warning from the guys on TZP, specifically Mex, I believe is the one that dropped that ward. No, it's Ganal actually in the Tempest, and it will be countered. Even better, it was just recently placed, so very, very helpful. Speaking of wards, winning situation, actually a lot of counters here on the Legion side, and as a result, they only have the 1 Word of Sight in the top rune, so not a ton of vision. Bottom lane, though, meanwhile, Dr. Repulsor will be caught and killed, so Nearest Blessing not even enough to get the save onto Doctor, as Pebbles has a portal key. So pretty much naked PK here on Pebbles, no steam boots, just the bottle, so no power supply either. He's going to have some mana issues as a result, and it's actually kind of surprising he has enough for his full combo. He just barely does. As if he has full mana, he has the 75 plus 240. That's necessary for his full complement of skills. Ancients, meanwhile, and Count Crapula is dead. So Warbeast, one of the heroes that can tank Ancients relatively quickly, but Puppet Master finds him, catches him out. Meanwhile, Pebbles is going to be caught here as Dr. Repulsor flies in. Stalagmites does connect onto him, but not nearly enough damage. Ophelia eating some rockets right there. Magnus looking from the Lava Surge. He's got a portal key available in a second. There it is. Going to find the Pyromancer, block him a little bit, then the Lava Surge, and this is going to be another kill going the way of Dr. Repulsor. Chipper should be able to get out of there just fine, as Tempest is farming a little bit dangerously, but probably safe for the meantime. And this Chipper is a pick that was interesting, and one that is clearly not working out for this Legion team. Very, very mid-game focused, and when Chipper doesn't get farm, he is completely useless. He transitions to the late game okay, but usually that works best if he's had a strong early game, and he's picked up a lot of GPM as a result of hero kills. He really doesn't farm by himself all that well. And this is just not going to happen in this situation. He's got Steam Boots. He's perhaps working on a Ring of Sorcery. He's got an Amulet Exile right here, so that could be either a Sorcery or a Grave Locket. I'd actually prefer the Grave Locket in this situation. He just needs stats to survive the initiation potential of the Hellworn team. But the bigger problem is he just has more or less nothing to offer this Legion side. I mean, he can't farm, he can't take them late, and he needs other people to gank with him, but he doesn't have the same initiation potential as something like a Pebble, so he's not really going to help Pebbles all that much. Warbeast in the top lane, not going to be stunned as he gets the teleport on out. So I don't know what to do with this chipper, to be frank. He's going to take some farm in the bottom lane, and that'll help his experience a little bit, I guess, but it's not going to do too much for him in terms of his utility. He is going to hit level 9 relatively soon, and that'll give him level 4 in both Tartos and his rockets. But if you're TZP, what do you do with Chipper? You can't really take him with Pebbles. There isn't a lot of potential for him to actually assist in those ganks because he doesn't have a portal key. So I guess you can throw in some long-range rockets, but he's just not going to be quite as mobile in Little Lane. Pebbles going to get the jump onto Magmus, but the counter searing chains, whatever chains, as Yellow Train dies. Chain reaction. I wanted to say searing chains, but this isn't Dota. Anyway, the jump potential on the Magmus not sufficient. He has nearly 1,200 life, and that's not a huge surprise. Anyway, Tempest Hole going to be able to lock down a number of heroes as they all port into it, but they're just going to counter this. 2 heroes likely going to be falling as the actual eruption gets canceled. Tempest, though, going to take the Astrolabe, will heal Chipper back up, but Tempest definitely falling here. For some reason, Chipper trying to stay in, gets the counter kill, actually, onto I Love Sonya on the Magmus. Here comes Pyromancer, going to miss the Dragonfire as Torturer sidesteps it. A couple more auto attacks will be enough to finish off the Chipper, but he's got some team support, more team support from the Hellborn side, though, as the Ophelia comes in to lock down Pyromancer. 2 teleports from the Legion side. Nobody buying back, but Pebbles resurrecting, going to find the Dr. Repulsor. Easy Stalagmites and a Chuck. That's a kill. Jonathan, though, dies as here comes Puppet Master, and there goes Count Crapula on the Magmus, the Warbeast, and Pebbles now going to be chased into his own woods behind the Tier 1 tower, but not sufficient to actually finish him off. It will just allow him to live. He has the portal key on out if he wants to disengage from this, but 3 heroes up on the Hellborn side. He maybe is feeling like yeah, he has to be safe, and he will be just fine as he backs it on out. So, 3 Ophelia creeps up, and this is going to turn into a Tier 1 tower push in the bottom lane. Should be pretty easily killed here. Torturer has the Impalement level 3, not even needed, as the Oph minions are sufficient to take a Tier 1 tower there, and that will be the 3rd Tier 1 tower killed in favor of the Hellborn team. So, Zenzyg up pretty significantly now. Just under 9k gold, 8.5k experience. Should be a relatively easy mid-game for them, as they also have a strong mid-game team. You look at this Legion lineup, and they're definitely oriented around ganks, around killing people quickly, and around taking a victory at the 30-minute marker, so before the Hellborn's carry potential really gets going. But the Hellborn have just as much mid-game as the Legion side do. As you look at the Magmas with the Portal Key, the Ophelia, as well as the Doctor, Repulsor, and Puppet, both very strong ganking carries. So it kind of makes you wonder, at what point is the Legion side, in fact, going to be ahead? At what point are their heroes going to be better than the opposing teams? And at this stage, I would say none. This Legion lineup hinged entirely on having a strong laning phase, and they absolutely did not. So that failure is resulting in a pretty serious situation for them, and very probably a loss here as Conquer is being attempted. Token of Life will go to Dr. Repulsor, who's a fantastic token carrier, of course. And he will be heading into the middle lane. You look at the Hellborn items as well. Puppet Master getting the Shroud, sub 20 minutes, so he's going to have a lot of gank potential. Looks like Dr. Repulsor's going the Hellflower route. That's another gank-oriented item. Ophelia with Astrolabe and Ring of Sorcery, push-oriented, teamfight-oriented items. And Magmus, of course, the early Portal Key. That's just a Magmus item, but obviously does contribute to his gank potential. So, Hellborn side, nobody really going for this straight-up, I'm going to AFK farm type things. Perhaps the only thing that would indicate even more gank potential would be something like an Icon of the Goddess on Dr. Repulsor, where you basically have to get hero kills in order to make that item viable. Meanwhile, though, nice jump away from Doctor as he responds to the initiation from Pebbles. Unsuccessful in the gank. And triple stacked Ancients will be cleaned up by 4 members of the Hellborn side as Wazo on that Puppet Master farms out the Hellborn Woods. 350 GPM on Tempest. He continues to farm quite well. The problem is he's going to have no support from his Legion team. Tempest obviously a strong gank-oriented hero, and very good at locking people down with his ultimate, but top lane actually Puppet Master will get the ultimate and the Puppet Show onto Warbeast. That's going to be sufficient for a kill, as he makes sure with the 1 auto attack onto the hero, and then finishes out the Puppet. Wazo currently sitting at, what, 9 hero kills and 1 death and 1 assist. 510 gold per minute. Things looking more and more bleak for this TZP team as time goes on. And they're going to look to push in this middle tier 2 tower. Token of Life currently with just over 3 minutes left on it, so if they want to make something out of this, they're going to have to start doing it pretty much now. They can definitely get a tier 2 tower here, pretty much entirely for free. Magnus with a level 2 ultimate up on the hill, and ready to engage if they see the opportunity. Meanwhile, some split pushing going on as Puppet Master takes this tier 2 top lane. But obviously the majority of Zenzyg's forces concentrated in the mid. And Glyph of Fortification used there to slow this down a little bit, but I suspect it won't be stopped. I don't know how long it's actually going to take them to get this tower kill, but I would imagine that they're definitely going to get it. As Puppet joins them in the mid. Warby's trying to slow things down a little bit with his wolves. He just skips straight through a pause. And that's the beauty of replays, folks. So, tier 2 tower falling here in the middle lane, just over 2 minutes now on the Dr. Repulsor token, so he can pretty much sit in the front lines and dare the Legion team to go on to him. Now, one of the advantages they do have is they're short cycle heroes. The cooldowns will be spent and then back up relatively quickly, which means they can engage, disengage, and re-engage in a relatively short period of time. Other than Tempest, they actually really have a lot of very short cooldowns. Even the ultimates for the Chipper, 55 seconds, for the Warbeast, just 60 seconds. So it's not unrealistic to see them blow a bunch of spells and then come back into this and continue to fight. As there goes Pebbles with the jump, 2-man Stalagmites, gets the toss back onto the Puppet Master, who activates his Shrunken Head, and we're going to see a opposite charge on Tempest. We're trying to lock him down and kill him. Background, see Chipper getting jumped on a little bit by Puppet Master, whose Shrunken Head is going to wear off in a second as he pops his Assassin Shroud. As the Astrolabe heals everybody back up. Dr. Repulsor still with a minute left on his token, but no Shrunken Head available from Puppet Master, and they're not feeling particularly confident about this push, it seems. Ophelia heading back. Warbeast Wolves providing some scouting, so actually the Legion side knows they're down a man, and they're going to go right back in onto the Puppet Master, who's going to get away with the Assassin's Shroud. Pebble is going to pay for this, as he jumped further than his team, and that's the only disadvantage of being the only guy in your team with a PK. Tempest has one as well, but apparently couldn't find the angle to drop the hole. It's a situation where having multiple portal keys is very, very helpful. And that's why the more PKs you get, the more valuable each one is. Because having even another portal key on Chipper right there, that would definitely have been a dead Puppet Master, and it may have allowed the Pebbles to live, and it may have even set up some more kills. So, once again, this Chipper's farm, or lack of farm, is becoming a serious problem for TZP. Jonathan is up to 210 gold per minute, and he's now about 300 gold off of his PK. But again, that's all he's going to have. So that's early Pebbles portal key we saw, no steam boots, no power supply, and he was really not able to make too many successful ganks, because even if he had actually, hit one, which he didn't do all that much, he wouldn't have been able to follow it up. He would have spent his entire mana pool and been unable to do anything after that. He's like, alright, well I got that, but now I'm out of mana. As Warbeast in the top lane, gonna get jumped by the Magnus. Here comes the Puppet with the Puppet Show. He will pop his ultimate. That's not gonna be nearly enough, as Count Crapula gets caught out way far away from his base and his team. Easy kill there for Zenzyg, as their gank potential gets shown once again. And this is likely going to turn into a tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. You look at Dr. Repulsor, he has finished up his Hellflower. He's actually going to spot out the Tempest with a Flying Vision from that contraption. And maybe looking to take out these Tempest Elementals as well. Obviously, Puppet Master finished up the Shrunken Head before the last engagement, so his farm continues to be very strong, 550 GPM on Wazo. Torture actually finishing off Steam Boots, and most of the way toward a push book, just 500. Actually, he has it now. He's got the, yeah. He had enough money for it, even without spending his gold, but he actually had sufficient gold for it. Anyway, he just had the recipe on the way, so push book can be very helpful, as Dr. Puppet can be jumped back in. He pops a Shrunken though, and there's the eruption onto 2, gonna be completely destroying Mex and Canal. Pebbles nowhere to go, as he gets killed pretty easily. Shrunken Head, and that's gonna be a CC vote. in the midst of this team fight, as Warbeast also going to fall here, and Chipper just barely able to get back in the well. Will they kill him in the well? They will. Obviously doesn't count as the CC vote was already called, but still not bad. And in the end, pretty easy victory for Zenzyg, as they managed to take a really, really strong laning phase and turn it into a 25-minute win. Obviously, you look at the Legion lineup and you think, that's not a lineup that's meant to go late game. So you can certainly understand why, after they lost the initial laning phase and they lost it really hard, they were unable to do too much of anything. I mean, Chipper at 226 gold per minute is not a hero. That's just not a thing. Pebbles, 214 GPM, same story. And you're looking at the GPM charts on the Hellborn side, and it's just unbelievably it's difficult to deal with, especially when they have as much late game potential and heroes that can do as much with farm as those heroes can, even in the mid game. So this isn't a situation even where you're looking at like a Dark Lady, where she says, okay, I've got my cleave and I've got good GPM, but I'm gonna get like 3-4 more items before I'm really ready to fight. And well, sad times here for TZP, losing a game that they probably weren't expected to lose. They probably should be 2-0ing a team like Zenzyg, but instead they're going to be down 0-1, and this is the losers bracket, which means they're facing elimination. So they're going to have to come back strong in Game 2 if they want to continue on in Gold Cycle 6, and we'll see if they can do that, as that will finish off Game 1, and we'll have Game 2 coming up right away.